So I'm gonna give you one of the games I've seen people play where they do something wrong and then they try to blame other people. So I made some jerky once, followed a recipe to the dot, and I gave it away. But it gave me the runs at work and I don't drive and I needed a new pair of pants. So I went home to get a pair of pants and I got ready for my next shift. I got yelled at, belittled, just because I asked for a ride. I got made fun of by my family, and then they're trying. Now, remember, I'm in my 20s. I'm like 24 years old. And then they're trying to tell me I can't go out to work, or I can't get ready for work, or I can't go out with my brother, or whatever. Acting really inappropriate. On top of that, I ain't got the runs, and I'm going to the bathroom to shit a lot. But anyways, my brother comes to get me out of that crazy house where everybody's drunk and acting stupid. So I go and get in my brother's car. Now he's a little bit of a drinker himself, but he has good sense at least. So we go out to eat, and I got a little money from work, but I don't want to get a buzz because I don't feel good. Alcohol sometimes gives me the runs, but I did work real hard. So I order a Coke and rum, and actually a Cuba Libre, very watered down, and I sip on that. Now, this is probably hours before, this is 5 hours before I get home or so, or 3 hours before I get home. Now, I sip on that. That's the only drink I really have. One rum and Coke at about 5, 6, no, probably 6 o'clock. Then we wait for the meal, the goat lady to come over and take our order. She takes our order for our food. I think I order like a chicken palm. They go to cook it. They come over and they ask us if we want any drinks. I don't know what I want. I don't want pineapple juice. I don't want alcohol. I want to try something new and special. I'm sick. I'm getting belittled at home. And I know I'm coming home to a shit show because they were ready to drink when I left. So I know they're on their fifth drink while I'm over here trying not to drink. So I look and they have a 6-ounce glass of mead that's 4% alcohol. So I order that and I drink only about a third of it. It tastes like a white wine or nothing. I guess it's supposed to be a honey wine, or it's very low alcohol, and I didn't finish it. It wasn't to my liking, but now I know I don't like mead. It's not my drink. And I don't drink at all anymore, by the way. For the last 8 years, drinking's not a thing. I did a little bit of beer during cookouts or parties like twice a year, but for the last 4 or 5 years, not even that. I mean, I don't. There's no reason not to drink for me either. It's not like I ever had a problem. I do have a physical illness in my body with my nervous system. That's a big problem. But drinking, I could pick up or leave. It doesn't agree with my stomach. It's hard for me to do in the first place. And the only reason why I wanted to do it is so I could be accepted by my family and feel a little better with the nervous system. That's why I drank with them when I was not really wanting to. And the whole reason why I drank by myself while living in the woods heavily was because if I didn't, I got stuck in the cold. But it never was a problem as a teenager. It never was a big problem while I was living up here. It never was a problem. I think the only time I had an alcohol problem is when the temperature was 0 degrees and I was trying to sleep in a tent. I had a big alcohol problem while living like that. When you're living outside, you're not getting treated for an illness, and you know you might die in morning. But you know if you do live to morning, you're not going to be able to move your body, so you have to spend all day continued, even though there's a warm Dunkin' Donuts finally open, but you can't get there. So if I know if I drink enough right before I go to bed, yes, I might still freeze to death. I might still be cold, but I won't shake, have a seizure, and there's a chance I'll be able to walk out of there in the morning. And that became a serious drinking problem because if that's the only treatment, cure, medicine you can get, Ativan works better, so does Triliptal, but no doctors would give me either of those back then. So the only medication I could take for this illness would have been alcohol, and that was a stupid thing to do. But anyways, other than living in the woods freezing to death, I never had a serious problem with alcohol, but my family did. For instance, I tried a shock top and it was disgusting, so I poured them down the drain. They ended up screaming and having a hissy fit. But we're not going to go into that. We're going to go into the night I went out to my brother and I got a little bit of food poisoning from jerky. So I'm out with my brother. We hang out. Now, neither of us are drunk. I'm not even got a buzz. I could blow probably a 0.3. There's not enough alcohol to do anything. Plus, everything's sliding through me. Plus, I ate a big meal, and there was only one rum and Coke in the whole meal. I did order a like $15 special meat off the menu, but it's not to my liking. I get home, and there's alcohol bottles everywhere. There's liquor, hard alcohol in front of my father. Their eyes are glassy. They're talking all mad and slurring. And so me and my brother already knew this was going to happen before we came in the house. So he said, before you go to bed and they stress the hell out, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go straight up the stairs. I said, that's what I plan on doing. I know how they're going to be. So we took one, he's like, do you want one hit of some weed to fall asleep? Because I know you've been telling me that those sleeping meds fuck you up in the morning. Would you rather a hit of weed? Because I know that you say it's safe. Yep, I would love a hit of weed. I just spent all month trying to get any weed, hemp, CBD, anything I could find. Nobody got it all the way in a gun clip. So I took a hit out of a religious prayer bowl, by the way. This is a bowl in the shape of a cross that I do a prayer before bed before I take a hit. Now, I had no weed to use it, but it was really nice to do that with my brother. Now, before the weed kicks in, I take and I get in the door. Now, before I open the door and I go to the stairs, you're drunk. Oh my God. Well, they're drunk and there's alcohol in front of me. in front of them and in front of me. I'm at the staircase. The table's in front of me. All their booze is there. And they can't stand up off the couch without wobbling. I'm trying to get up a flight of stairs walking fine. These people are drunk, glassy-eyed, violent, talking aggressively, and can't stand up off the couch. They are drunk. They are buzzed, and they don't even know it because you can't realize you're buzzed when you're buzzed and drunk. You go, I'm not drunk, you're drunk. Oh, fuck yourself. That's drunk behavior. That's how people talk when they're drunk. So anyways, they act up. They start screaming. We are scared shitless. Me and my brother look at each other like, oh, my God, they're drunk again. So at this point, they called the police on us. But the police are more concerned about them because they're drunk. Then they throw my ass out to the street. My brother says he'll give me a ride back to the woods. So even though he actually invites me into his home instead because he doesn't want me living in the woods, he's a good person. My brother is a good person. He might be double my age in his 60s, but he doesn't want, after everything that he's seen that happened to me, all the horrible things, he doesn't want to see me just move into the woods again. So that's good. But anyways, the cops breathalyze me. No alcohol in my system. 0.00000. I say, there should be like a 0.000.3. I should have enough. Like I mouthwashed my mouth out. They said, nope, no alcohol whatsoever. Oh, okay. Well, I must have metabolized that pretty quick. I knew it was going to be almost nothing, but nothing great. So I'm packing up my stuff, and they said, this is terrible. This is terrible. We don't understand why they're acting like that. Because they're drunk. Yeah, we see the alcohol down there. And don't forget, my father and his new wife, who never spent any time getting to know me when I was skinny, weighing 76 pounds, getting abused by my mother, about to starve to death because of what was going on with me. By the way, I looked like a skeleton through my whole childhood because of all the abuse. Let me go back, though. So we go downstairs, and they can't get off the couch. They're still glassy-eyed. They're still not talking normal. They're still acting aggressive and violent. And they still have cops really more worried about them than the people they called. The cops are shaking our hands, being nice with us, being very supportive. Meanwhile, they're looking at my mother and father like, oh, my God, look at these crazy people. And they weren't crazy. They just had too much to drink. And they wanted to take it out on me because I shit myself from jerky and I took a day off to go get pants. Actually, I didn't take a day off. I had like 1 hour left on my shift, but I shit myself while squatting, so I had to go get pants because nobody was going to drop them off. There was no way to change, and I don't have a car thanks to a neurological condition, and nobody wants to treat that. As soon as we treat my actual illness, I can drive. I can drive home, get a pair of pants, and go back to work. But until that happens, I'm forced to be belittled by these people. And they don't want me driving. If they did, if my family wanted me driving, they would treat this neurological condition and get me help. They've seen me a skeleton. They've seen me not being able to eat. They've seen me shake. They've seen me bloody on my shins. They've seen me fall down during fireworks. They've seen me OD at age 7. They've seen, they've had her admit, they've seen, heard, and had her admit they're giving me extra full bottles of Ipecac as punishment. They've seen her act mental. They've seen her traffic me all around the country. Yet, they're fine with me not driving because I have an illness that isn't being treated. They're all fine with that. Meanwhile, I'm working at Hannaford's as a butcher. I shit myself because I did the meat a little wrong. The recipe called for special filters, what I used, because I didn't have a dehydrator. But I don't like that. I think that filter didn't work well. The recipe says it's perfectly fine, but it gave me the shits like crazy. I shit myself for like a day. It wasn't fun. And then I got belittled by my family, my father and his wife, because I have an illness. Because I ate bad meat, and that's it. I just had to get home and get a pair of pants. That's all. Just need to change my clothing, but because I don't have a vehicle, I can't swing back right away. So my shift was over by the time I got home, and that's just it. Then I have to get ready for the next day's work. And after all their bullshit, I needed to relax. Oh my God. After shitting yourself and having your family that's supposed to help you belittle you and affect your mental health by not being concerned about your health at all. They're not concerned about the fact I can't drive. They're not concerned about the fact I shit myself and why. They're not concerned about the fact that these meds are causing bad side effects. When I tell them that the one med I'm not on, Ritalin, might be needed in college and that I have interest in going to college, they don't even have a discussion about that. Instead, she says she's going to call my doctor and make up stories to make sure I never get medication from any doctor whatsoever. And I'm sure she did do that. I'm sure that's why I can't get medical care now. I bet my mother and her best friend called every doctor they knew in every fucking state in Massachusetts or Pennsylvania and made up little medical things and said, I'm the mother, I'm the stepmother, I know everything, I know everything. Meanwhile, not even talking to me. I bet you almost $100 that they have reports of a Patricia Newell and her best friend or my aunt or whatever making false statements on my medical records. I guarantee that. If somebody gave me a ride and an attorney and we went around, I bet I could find so much fraudulent bullshit that's getting in my way. And this is what I mean by the wall. I could be bleeding into my testicles where everybody can see it. Internally, I go to the doctor and they don't even check. Why? Because some other woman years ago kept on making statements not to test me. Don't listen to him, just release him. He's a hypochondriac, so don't even look. But if you just open your eyes and look, you'll see a testicle filled with blood. If you just open your eyes and look, you'll see black urine coming out of my penis. I cannot fake black urine coming out of my penis. So can you please help me? And they don't want to do anything. I don't even get a chance to get that far. But this is what happens when you have evil people like my mother and her best friend doing stuff they shouldn't be doing, like getting themselves involved without speaking to their son. Now, I haven't spoken to my mother's replacement, who's never spent any time with me for a while. But every time I try to, she goes into fantasy land and sucks into my mother's mental illness. And I try to show them videos and pictures. Like she has a picture of my face after a seizure. She has pictures of my testicles swollen with blood. She knows this is real. But then she might have to give up her happiness. She's sucking my father dry right now. If my father helps me, that's less vacations for her. And this is something that's in the back of her mind. And watch, they're going to get mad that they have to help me. They're going to act like this is all my fault. Like, it's my fault that I was crippled at 7. It's my fault that I couldn't eat because I was being poisoned with Ipecac. It's my fault that I was put in New Mexico and given food poisoning and abused. It's my fault my mother decided to lie, manipulate, and poison me. Oh, yeah, that's all my fault. The only responsibility I got to take is getting sober and fixing my hepatitis. That's it. Everything that's gone on for the 25 years is nothing to do with my actions. Not only that, they affect my mental health and my sobriety every day of my life. I have to fight harder to do my stuff because somebody else doesn't want to clean up their mess. I have to suffer, fall on the side of the road, have cars run over my hair, get black and blue, then work a 40-hour work week and pay rent that's higher than my rent, collect no Social Security, and then stay sober and help other people and stay religious and keep to my following Jesus, all while somebody else tries to make it harder for me.